everyone, I'm Serena. Nancy, your journals are stunning and obviously lots of years of work, right? Oh my goodness. I love it. Well, I started journaling as a teen, and I wrote a lot and I scribbled a lot with really big marks on pens saying who I hated and, which crushes I had. And there were lots of pictures of Mel Gibson and Tom Cruise but then I moved on, of course. I took a break and all I did was collect books with junk in them. I brought a couple here. I'm actually from Australia, so, bringing my junk books across the Pacific is, Martin was not impressed, but they're basically books that can't even fold. They're so thick and they're just pictures, and every now and then I take them out and I can't believe how much I've grown and how much my tastes have changed over the years. But I've always been the visual person, having lots of pictures and things like that. But I wanted to say that, for me, when I was traveling a lot, I put all my journals online. It was just writing. So I have lots of typing notes, no sticky stuff, no pictures or anything like that. That was after the junk journals. But then I did go back to journaling, and I don't write as much. It's mostly because of time constraints and things like that. Sometimes I write little snippets, but mainly it's sticking pictures in quickly or, getting my paints and just quickly doing some sort of rough drawing to remind me of something. And I think the journals are a good way to heal from any hardships that life has to throw at you. But they're also a wonderful memory keeper. And I think and over time, when you see your journals, you look at them, you read through them or the pictures, I think that makes you resilient. You can see how much you've changed, over time. So I'll show you some examples of the journals I keep nowadays, because I do a lot of natural dyeing and, ink making and pigments making. So I have lots of scraps of paper. So I usually do something like this. Can you see that? Like little notebooks that I keep with just different kinds of, prints that I made from leaf materials. I think my light is a bit too bright. Let me just... I don't know if that's better. Is it better? It's too bright, right? The sun coming in. But I'll show you, hang on a minute. Whoa, no, I don't think that made the difference, but let me know if you can't see, sorry. Here's another journal kind of thing I do, sticking doilies that I've dyed. Nuts, it's nuts because I'm nuts, but it's also because that's walnuts. And that is the kind of journaling I do these days. It's like sticking samples of dyed stuff I've done. Most of my journey these days is in the forest and at the beach, where it's chaotic with my 3 boys and my puppy, and I forage a lot in the forest. I forage a lot in back alleys. So I'm always picking up little plants, and I literally do dye pots this tiny. Like seriously that tiny. So and then I quickly put whatever I pre-mordanted and I stick my stuff on there and write. But when I do write, it's not just what I did with the actual dye material. It's usually what I've the story that went that day, what happened with the puppy, or some big fall my kid had, or some idea that popped out. Small things like this where I just write in the ink that I made out of acorns, and then the dye of the plants. I sew with thread as well. For example, you can see it here. That's the yarn that I sew with around. For me, it's really meditative to do that, and I think everybody would agree that journaling is like that. Some of the other chaotic kind of stuff I do is this. And I know the weaving group has done a lot of this. We did that over a couple of, just sticking, but they're not just pictures that are just thrown in there. Each of them means something to me. For example, the Hopi, I had a big bunch of these sunflowers given to me, but the seeds were what I wanted. And it's the Hopi black sunflowers that I use the seeds for making ink. You know, these were wild grapes, which it's a reminder that I'm still looking out for them on my walks because it also makes a wonderful ink. These flowers were one of the first flowers in the spring, and they made a gorgeous color. Irises gave me beautiful inks as well. They're just little reminders. Save seeds. It's always a reminder to save seeds. I weave with cattails. So I kind of stick things in, and the little, little things like this saying this is a noise-free zone, and under it is some very sarcastic comment that I made that it's not ever a noise-free zone. I had to actually just tell my boys to leave the kitchen now. So here's another way, a journal that I do, which is a cloth journal. You know, I write in it, as in I embroider in it. For example, oh, look at this. Dawn might remember this. So this says, don't wish for it, work for it. And I put it here because Dawn gave me that little piece, and Dawn is in here actually in this little group. And she reminds me of that quote. She works really hard for everything she does, and I don't know, I thought of it and I wanted to put it there. So, and then I put a little pocket of something I had embroidered, just that part, but this is of another piece that somebody gave me. But then I keep a needle and thread in there, stuff like that, so that whenever I take it out with me, I have it and I can just write with it, as an embroider, some stuff. And whatever I embroider, I do try to, because it takes so long to sew, you think about it, it's just little things like that. I like it. Pocket again with pens and stuff in there of a pair of pants I really loved. And then eventually I had to give it up, but I kept the pocket so I can sew it into my book. So that's one of my other journals. And then I also do very simple, this kind of stuff, opus books, but I haven't written anything, but I just try to decorate the pages with inks I've made. That's pokeberry, by the way, pokeberry ink. That's pigments that my boys found that I mixed up with a bit of indigo that I've grown. So it kind of, just squishing it in there. After I've made the ink, I didn't want to waste anything off the muller, so I just put it in there. So that makes the inks the pages more interesting for me to write on. Messy, really messy, but also memories, because those pigments were from certain places, this is like, it's just messy, but I really love it. And this is the latest ink I made with the oak, just beautiful. And I'll just write on those pages over them. This is Coreopsis too. I smashed the last few Coreopsis I had in the garden and splashed the paint there. So that's how I decorate my pages to write on. So I live right by the forest and the beach, like I said, so it's really amazing inspiration for me, and really, really lovely to be out there and use stuff out there. But then I wanted to say in this group, because of the COVID times and the way we are, we're not all going shopping and all. In these workshops, I'd like to show you how to use things that you have in your kitchen to make your inks, to make, you don't need much for this workshop, a piece of paper, or papers, and a couple of pens, a couple of colors, but you have a lot more colors in your kitchen that you can use as well. So over the next months, we can show you how to use those as well.